At number 1 is Texas. Texas, the number 1 linebacker unit in the country because they have the number 1 linebacker in the country, and Anthony Hill Jr. Since 2023, he has 32 coverage stops, tied for the most among all linebackers in the country, 10 sacks and 5 forced fumbles, tied for the most among Power 4 linebackers as well. So he's been a dominant player in his first 2 years of college football. He also has 127 plays where he made first contact on the ball carrier over the last 2 years, the most of any returning Power 4 linebacker. But besides Anthony Hill Jr., the best in the sport, you also have Trey Moore, who's now playing off-ball linebacker after playing edge defender his entire career at UTSA and then now at Texas. He had 8 sacks last year for Texas as an edge defender, which was tied for 10th among all SEC edge rushers. So yes, he's going to play off-ball linebacker, but I still think we'll see a lot of packages with him as a pass rusher for Texas next year. They also added Brad Spence over from Arkansas in the transfer portal. He was 8th in the SEC last year with an 83.3 run defense grade. Leonel Lafau is also back for his junior year. He started for Texas last year too. And then Elijah Barnes was the number 3 linebacker coming out of high school in the 2025 high school class. So you have Anthony Hill Jr., the best linebacker in the country. Trey Moore, who is a great edge defender for Texas, who will now be playing off-ball linebacker this year. When we see so many times, Dalton, we see off-ball linebackers making the transition to edge rusher. It's kind of the opposite for Trey Moore. Brad Spence, a great run defender from Arkansas, transferring in. Leonel Lafau started last year for Texas next to Anthony Hill Jr. And then Elijah Barnes, the number 3 linebacker coming out of high school too. Texas is my number 1 linebacker in the country.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, when you talk about Hill, the number 1 player on your individual list for this, when it starts with him and then you mention all that talent that you have next to and behind him, that's really where you start talking about, okay, that's the best unit. You've got top-end talent. You've got depth. I think Trey Moore, to me, is the most interesting guy here because, look, he's had 3 really good years as an edge defender, both at UTSA and at Texas, and now potentially moving back to linebacker listed at 6'3" and 246. We don't see a ton of linebackers built like that anymore. If he can actually handle that, and maybe that hybrid role, we talked about it earlier with Jahad Campbell, where, hey, sometimes he can still get off the edge too and rush the passer, and we have enough depth at this position with Lafau, with Spence, obviously with Hill. You know, we learned last year that Pete Kwiatkowski, he'll move guys all over the place. He doesn't care. He'll put wherever on any given play that somebody, put people wherever they're going to have the most success. I think you have a lot of flexibility more than anything with this linebacker unit, and that's what the depth gives you. When you have a unit this deep, you can put guys wherever you want them in any roles, coverage, blitzing, play off the edge. Obviously, run defense on early downs is going to be huge. They're cycling through more defensive linemen on the inside, especially because they keep getting drafted every year. But this linebacker unit, I think, along with their secondary, obviously we're going to talk about them next week, but this entire back 7 of this defense is going to be just as good as it was last year. They got a boatload of talent.
And still a great defensive line, too. One of my top 10 D-lines in the country, headlined by Colin Simmons, who is a freak, my number 1 edge rusher in the country going into next year, too. So Texas' defense is going to be absolutely one of the best in the country going to next year. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.